The Land Raider Redeemer is unsurprisingly a variant of the Land Raider Crusader, making it the youngest version of the Land Raider in use by the Space Marines today. Made by the Flame Lord Space Marine chapter to rout the traitorous world of Grasson, it is of course specialized for close combat. Hello everybody, my name is Spoons Rattling, and today we are covering the Land Raider Redeemer. The Land Raider Redeemer is of course quite a fun tank. It's a Land Raider with some big flamethrowers, but it certainly pays a high price for it. The Land Raider Redeemer comes in at 285 points, making it by far the most expensive variant of the Land Raider. Then it moves 12 inches, toughness 12, 2+ save, 16 wounds, leadership 6+, and OC 5. A little faster than the standard Land Raider, but not much else, which does mean it's not quite as tanky as the Land Raiders tend to be. In terms of ranged weapons, it has the standard accoutrements of a Multi-Melta Stormbolter and Hunter-Killer Missile. The Multi-Melta is Melta 2, 18-inch range with 2 attacks, a hit on 3s at strength 9, AP 4, and damage D6. This is of course very solid, and is a nice little anti-armor sting in the tail. Then the Stormbolter is Rapid Fire 2, 24-inch range, 2 attacks, a hit on 3, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. Again, a solid enough, if nothing impressive, anti-light infantry gun. Then on the front mount, we have the twin assault cannons, which are twin-linked with devastating wounds, 6 shots, ballistic skill 3+, strength 6, AP 0, damage 1, which is of course nice and solid, and helps it punch up thanks to the dev wounds and twin-linked. The Hunter Killer is 1 shot, so you can only use this once, 1 attack, hits on 2s, 48-inch range, strength 14, AP 3, and damage D6+1. Despite being so accurate, it does often feel very inconsistent, though it is a nice little extra piece of anti-armor. Then the main event is the Flamestorm Cannons, which are Torrent, ignores cover, and D6+3 attacks, of course no ballistic skill, strength 6, AP 2, and damage 2. This is a very, very competent infantry killer, and takes buffs really well, unsurprisingly. Of course, this thing does want to be on the front lines, not only to deliver its cargo, but also because most of its weapons are rather close range. Its melee weapon is bad, 6 attacks, strength 8, AP 0, damage 1, hits on 4s. Again, it's a vehicle, you don't need to charge it. The assault ramp, each time this unit makes a move and a unit disembarks from it, that unit is still eligible to make a charge. This is of course very useful to transport mainly assault units, and just has great synergy in general with the things it can transport. It does have slightly increased, though not as much as the Crusader, transport space, which is 14 infantry. Jump packs and terms take 2, and Centurions take 3. This is fairly standard for the modern Land Raider variants, but is still very good. This allows for some interesting combos to be made, and in general is a very nice upgrade over the 12 slots of the standard Land Raider, which allows it to transport a more flexible mix of units, which can really be used to complement its main weaponry. Overall, this thing is obscenely expensive for a Land Raider, but not necessarily to the point where it's awful. It just means you need to make use of not only its great damage, but also its great transport capacity. So if you're going to use this, make sure you have a plan for it. And the plan for it we're going to cover here in a second is relatively simple, much like most of the Land Raiders are. Since it is so pricey, you can't rely on it just for damage, and it does need to transport something. It takes buffs very well, and of course, given its giant fire cannons, it loves Firestorm Spearhead, where it can easily get those Torrent buffs, and Vulcan Histon, of course, gives it very powerful buffs as well if he's nearby. But at 300 points, it does need to do a little bit more than that, as its firepower, while not necessarily bad against vehicles, isn't going to be taking down tanks or anything like that without some major buffs. A unit mix that I would like to transport with this could be a 6-man melee unit, whether it be Blade Guard or Inner Circle Companions or anything of that size. And then you can also bring in 3 Eradicators, which would also be very useful to jump out and help this thing deal with any heavy tanks, because Eradicators have, I believe, the best anti-tank in the book, just purely based on numbers, though they do need some sort of method to get to the front line, which this obviously provides at a greatly increased speed, and also keeps them very safe, as this thing is still very tough to a lot of anti-tank firepower. And of course, the 6-man melee unit would of course provide a lot of protection to that very fragile Eradicator unit. As I mentioned earlier, its weapons are mainly curated towards infantry killing. The Flamestorm Cannons are exceptional at that, though they still can punch up against some vehicles, especially with Vulcan Histon. I believe he gives the wound rerolls, as well as being able to get devastating wounds from certain stratagems. Though, of course, I don't use Flamestorm. This guy is right at home in Gladius, allowing him to get to position faster, and extra AP on all those weapons is never bad. And of course, this thing can transport Terminators, but even though it has more space, I'd weirdly say that the Land Raider Normal is better for that, and overall, this thing just needs a specific plan. I've been Spoons Rattling, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.